Listen Up, presented by Dempsey's and Sports Land. Ryan, I feel like that this is like a whole new podcast that we have just started between you and I feeling under the weather, between you going down south, me going up north. Oh my gosh. But I tell you, we needed that break. And I tell you what, it's such a blessing to hear different people, to still see the comments coming through. I know you saw them. I've had several people ask, how has Ryan Renner been? Well, he's been all right. He's right here with me on the screen, as you can see. It has been that break was very much needed. I think you agree with it. I think we just needed some time to waste, because we cannot wait until UConn women's basketball is back. And I think we have less than a month, partner.
Yeah, we do have less than a month. And like you said, with vacations and then with us working and school and all that good stuff, it's been a little over a month now since we've made our last video. So this is a much overdue video, but finally got a little bit of UConn Huskies news this past couple of days about preseason, AP poll, media day, all that good stuff. And like you said, we've been counting down the days for it seems about 4 or 5 months now since for that first regular season game, and now we're just a little under a month away.
So what we're going to do, Ryan, before we get started, we're going to dive into the AP poll. You wanted to discuss that, and then we will dive into the most recent news. Shout out to CT Insider on providing us some very helpful information. UConn women's basketball players at the Big East Media Day. It goes from the funniest to best dressed, and Gino is it, and then it goes nicer. So, Gino kind of reminds me, maybe like, if you want to compare to football, kind of like a Bill Belichick, right? I mean, it's either you're going to play ball or you're not. You're going to be out there on the floor giving it 100%, or you're going to be sitting on the bench. It's nowhere in between, right? We always know what Belichick and Gino are all about, and that's business. Hey, before we get started, Ryan, I just want to shout out, and you know why, not to get into detail, shout out very quickly to Towson University, home of the Towson Tigers, man. Everything is looking up as planned. It's just, I can't thank everybody enough, man. It's been, again, the past month, we've had a lot of ups and downs. Some people that have gotten sick along the way, that I know. We want to shout out to them, give them our thoughts and prayers. It's just so much. We could be on here for 2-3 hours. I know that you don't want to be on here that long. But yeah, Ryan, I mean, again, a lot within the past month, but just shout out to everybody. And again, how about the people watching this video that came back after a month off? We promise that will not happen again.
No more, no more month-long breaks. We promise that.
All right, here we go, Ryan. Without further ado, we will get into the AP poll. This is your part of the show, Ryan. You wanted to run this part about the UConn Huskies, ranked number 6 in the AP poll. Unfamiliar territory. Usually, hey, it's pretty upfront. Usually it's number 1, right? But for some reason, you could go into discussion with the coaching staff, the players. For some reason, South Carolina, they have a little bit of a rumor going around that they are starting their own dynasty in women's basketball. So with that said, Ryan, UConn, our Huskies, land at number 6. And I think that's pretty respectful, considering without one of the best players in all of basketball on the floor, Paige Becker.
Yeah, ranked at number 6. I think it's a pretty good ranking. Like you said, last season they were 2 or 3 for the beginning of the year, and then they lost a couple of games, found themselves towards the bottom of the top 10, around 11, 12, 10 range. And then now, obviously, these rankings will change a lot throughout the season. We all know that, week to week, depending on how the teams will do. And UConn's schedule, we obviously already went over it. But looking at their non-conference schedule, I think they have one of the toughest non-conference schedules throughout all women's college basketball. I mean, they play South Carolina, Notre Dame, Texas, NC State, Tennessee. All those teams are ranked in the top 10. So it's going to be pretty hard to win. I mean, all of those games. I don't expect them to win all those games, but UConn has a pretty tough schedule this year. So depending on how UConn does throughout those games and their conference games as well, obviously they'll go up and down throughout the weeks. But I think we all expected, like you mentioned, with South Carolina to stay at number one all season long, unless they get upset. Like you said, they're kind of building a dynasty, the defending champs. We kind of expect them. They're obviously the favorites to win it again this season and go back to back. Stanford ranked it too. They have Haley Jones, Cameron Brink returning this season, so they'll probably be pretty good again, make another deep March Madness run. Texas at 3, another team that UConn plays. They've been pretty good the past 2 seasons, looking to make a run at the championship possibly this year. Then at 4, Iowa. I'm really excited to watch Iowa this season with Caitlin Clark. And I think UConn has a chance to play them if the two teams win in that one tournament they're in. But that would be a really good game. Caitlin Clark, that offense is really fun to watch in Iowa. And Tennessee is also at 5, such a legendary program. They're always up there. Then finishing off the top 10, Louisville 7, Iowa State 8, Notre Dame 9, and then rounding it out is NC State at number 10.
Yeah, and you know what? I have to admit, you know what? I have to admit that you're right about that. I'm glad you brought up the point. UConn, it just happened to be, I mean, the luck of the draw that they end up playing some of these teams that you don't really see every year. And again, there a lot of these teams are ranked, and when you're ranked, you know that's gold. You know, that's like holding gold in your hand. Yeah. So with that said, if UConn is going to make the big dance, March Madness, they're definitely going to earn it. Let's just say that. And I will go ahead and say that right now. You know, I don't care. You can sit here and say, well, maybe they have to lose a couple, which obviously we don't want to see it happen. Maybe they have to lose maybe about 3, 4, 5 more players to really say they earned that. No, guess what? Because you and I are huge fans of Paige Beckers, right? That's it. That's all it takes. Okay. Her gone. They arguably the out of all women's basketball teams in Division I sports, right? In college, they are going to be the ones that really have to earn it. Why? It's just a weight that you carry on your shoulders. That's what you usually, when you're a team that has the greatest player in that specific sport, it's the weight on the shoulders that you carry, right? I mean, am I right? Because you know, it's either you have him or her in the game or you don't. And in this case, we have to look forward to a season without Paige Beckers. I can't believe I'm still saying that on October the 22nd. But again, as we approach the season, it's something that every time I feel like every victory, no matter if it's against a ranked or unranked team, and as we get closer, if they make the big dance in March, Ryan, I feel like every victory, you and I, our jaw will drop just a little bit more, I don't care if people out there that are watching this believe in UConn 100%. Great. That's what we want to hear. But at the same time, I guarantee you, Ryan, every victory, people's jaws will be dropping just a little bit more because, again, this is unfamiliar territory. And again, as great as Gino is and the program, I still think that, man, this team is built around Paige Beckers.
Yeah, and I think Gino and the coaching staff have kind of done that throughout these past couple of years to not try to build the team around Paige Beckers, but just kind of Paige Beckers, a narrative being that she's the leader of the team and all that kind of stuff. But Gino is saying during the media day that there's been talk about Paige Beckers obviously being or acting as one of the coaches with her being on the sideline for all these games. So that should be pretty fun to watch Paige Beckers on the sidelines helping out our teammates and the coaches. I'm sure that'll be fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, for Paige Beckers, I guess kind of a positive way to not look at the injury, but a positive thing to think about is that it happened kind of early in the off season. So UConn was able to prepare for not having Paige Beckers for the entirety of the season, unlike last season when it happened in the middle of the season. And then all of a sudden they're without Paige Beckers and they're trying to scramble to see what lineups work the best and which players are going to get how many minutes. But now they've kind of had some time to prepare for it. And I think probably Gino by now has a good idea of what the lineups are going to be, the players, how many minutes they're going to get. So they've had some time to prepare for it. And I think UConn will do pretty fine. And we talked about it all off season long about how much depth this team has. Getting Lou Lopez, Ayanna Patterson, the new transfers coming in, the new recruits. So I think they're going to do just fine without Paige Beckers.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and go into the other topic tonight, Ryan, that we wanted to get into. And then how about comments? It's been forever since we reached out to our subs, and we want to thank everybody for watching. I want to apologize, and you have to correct me if you. I don't think that you can remember back a month ago which comments that we read and we did not go over. So if I read a comment for the second time within the last month, I do apologize. With that said, I saw it was, I believe, around 14 hours ago. It looks like October 22nd, so it was released today. It was discussing about the Big East, Media Day, right? Big East Media Day. And again, this is actually this is one of my favorite parts of the year. Because you get to know these players more. You get to embrace the fact that, okay, maybe some of your favorite players on your favorite team went elsewhere during the offseason, because that's actually starting to be more or less like professional sports now. We're seeing the not the trade, but help me out. What is it called when the college players go from one team to another during the offseason?
Transfer portal.
Transfer portal. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that you heard about a transfer portal 20 years ago.
No,
I mean, Sue Bird, you see legendary players like Sue Bird, who we went over. Again, congratulations on her retirement. Ryan, once you committed to a college, you're committed there 4 years. Okay. So,
yeah.
But with that said, it's different times now, and we get it. But again, I think the media likes that, especially with the people that we have talked to that has been working with the media for some time now. You and I have talked to them. They like to get a feel for who they're going to be around, for the next 5-6 months. Whether that's your veteran players returning, whether or not that's Lou Lopez coming in, right? They have 1 year. I saw somebody said we have 1 year with Lou Lopez. Make it count. So Ryan, what stood out to you on this Big East Media Day?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm reading here about Ayanna Patterson being the best dressed and Aubrey Griffin being the jokester. So I think just to me, it's important for the team to kind of get the chemistry down, they all know each other, obviously, and get the chemistry off the court as well, and just have playing and having fun at the same time. I think that goes a long way with any team in any sport. Being able to have so much chemistry and all actually liking each other and enjoying to play the game of basketball or whatever sport it is with each other and your team, because you're going to war each and every day, each and every night with your team, trying to beat the opponent. So you need to be able to trust everybody. You need to be comfortable with all your teammates. So when I read stuff like that about the team having fun, going out in the community, doing all that good stuff, and enjoying each other's company, I really like to see that. It gives me more confidence as a fan, as a basketball watcher, in a team when they have so much chemistry and they can do stuff like that on and off the court.
Yeah, and again, that pretty much puts a cap to that discussion, because I told you, I said, Ryan, that's basically, it's about having fun. It kind of reminds me of like a fan fest. You and I have been to many fan fests in the past. I just want to say really quickly, coming from Maryland, and I get it. There's probably a lot of baseball fans up north around UConn that are fans of this team. How about them New York Yankees? Okay,
Yeah,
let's probably just leave it at that, because we don't want this podcast to turn upside down over and out. All right. Ryan has nothing to say about that, but I had to just get that in on the air while I could. Let's move over to comments, Ryan, before we head out on this Saturday night. So much going on in the sports world, man. Um, it's hard to focus on just UConn Huskies women's basketball, although we love to do it, Ryan. It's so much, so much has been going down these past few nights, these past few weeks, this month that the month that we have been off. Let's go with Sandy. I tell you, there are some good ones. As I have to get try to be quick with this, Ryan, because there are some good comments coming up. Sandy Barbieri, come on, guys. Swin Cash in the Hall of Fame this year, not even a mention. You call yourselves UConn fans? Did we call ourselves UConn fans, Brian? I mean, we like to cover the team, but did we say that we're diehard fans?
Yeah, and I know I said something to you about recording that episode about Swing Cash, and I know I think I said I was gonna mention it, but maybe I forgot to. I probably did forget to in the episode, but I think that's around the time that Sue Bird played her last game, so I think we decided to do that episode instead. And then of course the Las Vegas Aces won the championship.
Yeah.
And then we went AWOL for a month. So
we were planning out what we were going to do, right? We were saying, okay, Ryan, I'm not talking to you for about 2 or 3 weeks. Ryan said, all right, Phil, I'm not talking to you for about a month. So that's where we left off.
Yeah.
Believe me, people, we have the craziest, like cousins, but a brother to brother relationship. But again, people always think, well, they don't ever need their time alone or their time. We do. You're the first one to say that. You need time away from Phil every once in a while, because I'll probably drive you crazy.
No, yeah, I think everybody does every once in a while.
Oh, thanks a lot. Let's go over to the next one. I remember this name, even though it's been a month. Jason D'Amico. My feeling is the Huskies will lose more than 5 games this year. Why? Ooh, Ryan will have a fun time with this comment. No Olivia Nelson-Adota, no Avina Westbrook, no Kristen Williams, no Paige Beckers. AZ Fudd is not ready. Oh, here we go again, Ryan, with this AZ Fudd talk. AZ Fudd is not ready to take the lead role. Caroline Ducharme is questionable, as is Dorka and Griffin. That's a whole lot of broadside firepower missing from the ship, fellas. Hope I'm wrong, but good show. Peace. I'll let you handle it, Ryan, just to say very quickly. I think more or less the leadership role I'm starting to see here. I think again, I'm not saying it doesn't matter in college. I'm thinking it's more or less the professional level, and you can evaluate on that. I'm thinking more or less not about leadership roles in college, Ryan. Who are you going to give the ball to in the biggest moments, especially when your backs are against the wall in March Madness, if you get there?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, that the UConn Huskies lose without Paige Beckers, because we've seen it so many times before, especially last season with the Huskies gave the ball to Paige Beckers and she couldn't miss in clutch time. So that's definitely the biggest thing they're going to lose. But yeah, I mean, just like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, with how great this non-conference schedule is that the Huskies face this season, it's going to be really tough. And I wouldn't disagree with that. That's not a bad take at all, that the Huskies are going to lose more than 5 games, especially without Paige Beckers. And I think the thing that excites me about the first game, obviously seeing them back in action, but there's going to be so many questions answered about the health of Caroline Ducharme, the leadership role of AZ Fudd, how Dorka and Lou look for their last season, or obviously Lou in her last season, but first season with UConn, Dorka's last season, new players coming in. So there's just going to be so many questions answered with that first game, but we'll just have to wait and see.
It's like I'm talking to a celebrity when I'm talking to you. I'm still trying to think, is this a dream or we're really back on the pod? So, I mean, man, I tell you what, truly blessed, man, to be back alongside of you, Ryan. And I'm glad that we have basketball coming up on our hands again, because I tell you, a month away from you, man, I was starting to miss you, bud. So it's good to be back on with you. How about Larry Moore, Ryan? Larry Moore says, come on, fellas, don't you think you can't got a good team? Come on, fellas. Don't you think the Huskies got a good team? Okay, so he corrected himself. I don't see Seton Hall or Villanova beating them just because they don't have Paige Beckers. And that don't mean that they won't win the Big East outright undefeated. You forgot the rest of the firepower that they got. And if you think the rest of the team is going to lay down to this, and you might be sadly mistaken. I see the Huskies going back to the Final Four, and this time they may surprise a lot of folks. Hey, well, I mean, we hope that he's right, but Ryan, you know, I feel like that being a true sports fan like you and I, it's just ask the people in Vegas, that are placing their bets. It's just so tough, man. It's tough to go for a team that's injured, and I'm saying that all because, or that's injured, not only injured because of Paige Beckers, but also the players that they lost. Jason D'Amico made a good point.
Yeah, and I think, if Paige Beckers would be healthy and there wouldn't be any question about Caroline Ducharme's health, because I was really high on this team all off season. Obviously, I am high on this team, but losing Paige Beckers is obviously very big and very detrimental to any team when they lose their number one player. But I definitely don't think UConn is going undefeated in the conference. I think they lose one or two games. I still think they're going to win the conference because it's definitely not the best conference to play in. But I do think they lose at least one or two games, and I think they're going to definitely lose a couple of those non-conference games. South Carolina, NC State. I mean, I listed them all. There's so many tough opponents. They play like 6 teams that are ranked in the top 10. So it's not going to be easy, but I still think they do win the Big East. They're going to win. They're probably going to win the championship again in the Big East, and obviously make it in the March Madness. But I think it's definitely going to be more of a challenge this season to fight through March Madness without Paige Beckers.
Hey, how about Mark Sweeney? This is a good comment and a good, actually a good name. Hey, Mark Sweeney sounds like an actor, right? We appreciate him commenting, Ryan. And again, I feel so bad. I know that you do. I'm not blaming it on you. I'll take the blame, Ryan. How about that? We do appreciate you all stopping by again on this pod, and we want to apologize. I mean, that's not like us to actually take a month off. But again, hey, we need it. We need it because guess what, Ryan? Maybe you won't be, but I'll be going through a lot of stress without Paige Beckers on the floor.
Yeah,
So I think a month off was very critical. All right. But we promise, guys, that we will be here. I know, Ryan, you discussed live videos while the games are on TV. So we can actually have people comment while the game is going on. It's going to get fun. We can't wait. Mark Sweeney goes, good morning. What a way for a UConn women's basketball fan like me to start his day. Just some wishful thinking. Paige didn't she make a surprise recovery to be ready for March Madness last season? Basically, I agree wholeheartedly with the picks made for these Big East matchups. Just one observation, Espinoza Hunter at Seton Hall is good. What if she balls out? Just my personal whatever, but the UConn freshman will have to be consistent for the Lady Huskies to win so many games. No, that's a good point, Ryan. The rookies. Oh, I'll see who won the WNBA game last night and try to drop in another comment if the sun kept it alive. Many thanks for your podcast. I will be listening up this whole season.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have all the recaps to all the games right here. But and the Sun didn't keep the series alive. The Las Vegas Aces won it. But yeah, I mean, I think with Paige Beckers being out, I think it's going to be really important. That's a good point. With the new transfer Lou Lopez and the rookies coming in, for them to be consistent, and I think it's going to take a whole team effort, just like it has every other year as well. But I think even more so this year, it's going to take everybody to pitch in, and probably everybody will see at least some sort of minutes, probably 5 or 10 minutes. But I think it's going to be really important to everybody to give 100% effort and give those minutes the best shot and play their whole hearts out, because I think it's going to take a team effort in a lot of these games. And if they don't finish it in the fourth quarter, they struggle to finish it in the second quarter going into halftime, and then closing out games in the fourth quarter. We saw that a couple games last season. They didn't finish the games out. They struggled in the clutch time in the regular season. So I think that's going to be really important to finish off games and for all the players to be consistent with their minutes.
You know what? You know what is also important for you and I to actually start covering all of women's basketball. Actually, during the off season, some during the UConn Huskies women's basketball off season, maybe focus on some other topics, because Iva goes, I patiently wait for before and after of every UConn game. But in the meantime, you should have been reacting to Women's Basketball World Cup. In regards of UConn games, I suggest in before games, you give opinion who will be MVP of that game, and then recap, you tell if you change your mind or you stay with your choice. Also, guys, what will be the lineup? And she puts a laughing emoji. Before the start of the season, we need to discuss some more. Well, yeah, Ryan loves them debates, them hot debates of starting lineups. There's nothing like starting lineups. It's like waking up to a fresh bowl of cereal and milk in the morning.
Yeah, and that's definitely an episode we should probably have this week, is predicting the starting lineup. We've been talking about that for a while. It's been some hot debates in the comment section about that starting lineup. So we're gonna definitely have an episode on that probably this week and try to get that out for you guys. But yeah, that definitely would be a good idea, because we we were struggling there for a couple weeks trying to figure out ideas to put on the channel and to talk about. So probably in this upcoming off season, after this season is over, we probably will focus more on other teams and other news surrounding women's basketball, just to give some variety, definitely during the off seasons, so we don't go on another month break like we did this time.
A comment about the women's WNBA championship that we witnessed back, what was that, September 18th, I guess. I can't believe over a month already, Ryan. That's unbelievable. PT Eddie. PT Eddie goes hey, I like part-time work. Nothing like part-time work, Ryan, huh? Part-time Eddie. The right attitude, the right players, the right coach. This is the start of something big for Vegas. Well, I'm sure Ryan will agree with that, only if the players decide to stay in this city, because Ryan knows all too well when you win a championship, it seems like everybody wants to leave.
Yeah, and it seems like all the other teams, especially the teams that get beat, just want to pick those players up and give them more money and try to win the championship for themselves.
Yeah.
But I definitely think with Becky Hammon, I think she's the really key piece. I know we both love her as the
Mm.
head coach of the Las Vegas Aces, so I think she will build a dynasty in Las Vegas, and hopefully they have another good season this upcoming season. But yeah, I mean, if all the players stay on that team, stay healthy again, I don't see why they couldn't have a really good chance to repeat again for this upcoming season.
All right. I'm seeing now we're on the countdown. Unfortunately, 7 minutes left. Just a little bit of time for this is Ryan and Phil's time. Anything special that you wanted to share, bud? Again, it could be about UConn basketball. It could be about anything. I know you went on a trip. But just anything at all special that you wanted to, any family members that you wanted to say hello to, anything going on special. We know something going on special on TBS right now, and that's in the Bronx, but we don't want to say any more about that. That's very special. That's getting ready to be a 3-0 lead, Ryan. Say no more. But other than that, anything at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many sports. This is my favorite time of year because we have so many sports going on right now. We got MLB playoffs, NBA just started back up, NFL seasons in mid form. We got women's college basketball, men's college basketball getting ready to start back up. Just everything all at one time, and I love to watch it. Got college football going on as well. NHL just started back up. So it's so fun as a sports fan in general, just to watch everything. Really, really entertaining. But yeah, went to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. That was a good time. Good weather down there. I got to spend some time on the beach again. So probably won't have another vacation until this upcoming summer, but definitely had a good time, had a good break off. But ready for the season to start now, ready to talk more women's UConn Husky women's college basketball, and just waiting for the season to start. We'll have to get that starting lineup video out. A couple more videos, and the first game will be here.
Yeah, something random I had to share with you because again, during our time off, I could talk about the trips that we've been on, this and that. I just got back from the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and we went up there for a visit. But what surprised me the most during our time off of this podcast, Ryan, um, came actually tonight. I just got out of church. Now, let me just say this right before we wrap it up here. No matter what religion you are, no matter this or that, it's just a general statement. Okay. I'm not targeting a certain religion. We're not going there. I'm just saying, the priest tonight, and no matter if you believe in prayer or if you don't, uh, I will just use the word thoughts rather than prayer. The priest tonight, man, and I had to share it with you. It really opened my mind up a lot more. He actually, he usually doesn't come off the altar a lot, but today, I mean, this evening, he was actually down in the aisle, preaching, and he goes right when he started to preach his sermon. He goes, "Look at the person next to you," and it was all part of his message this evening. Look at the person next to you. Of course, we kind of did what It's kind of awkward. You never really
Yeah.
seen this person before, and he goes, "Go ahead and do it." He's gonna stop looking at me. Look at the person next to you. How he goes, "Have you ever prayed for that person before? Have you ever thought about that person before?" And obviously your answer is no, because you don't know them. I mean, I was alone. Now you know take for someone else that was there. Take for someone else that was there with a family member or their friend. Obviously, they know the person sitting next to them. But at the end of the day, Ryan, the message to wrap it all up here: stop making everything about yourself. And that's what he said. And that just really he tapped his forehead and then he tapped his heart, and he said, "What you really want to do, it has to come from your heart." He goes, how many times do you see people praying for stuff that they need, stuff that they want, or thinking? If you don't believe in prayer, thinking about stuff that they need or stuff that they want. How many times do you think about other people? And again, the strong message here that just gave me chills. He said, "That's what's wrong with today's world. That's why today's world is upside down."
Yeah, I agree, and that's a very good message to leave it off with.
A very good message. You know what a very good message will be, to see Paige Beckers in rehab, and doing some exercises, maybe getting out there, just even if it's just warming up, not warming up with the team, but taking a pregame walk around the court, right? And giving each teammate high fives. Man, I tell you what, man, if I was a basketball player, I don't know if I would want anybody else, Ryan, during pregame introductions, to be giving me a little slap on the hand and dapping me up before the game.
Yeah, and I'm sure she's going to be coaching them all throughout before the game, during the game, after the game as well. So it'll definitely be fun to watch. Can't wait for the first game to start. I know Paige Beckers will be there for every game, making sure teammates are always in the game and all that good stuff.
Oh, the low temperatures around here are about 30, 40 degrees, Ryan. And you know what that means? UConn women's basketball right on the horizon. Ryan, no more months break, buddy. I'll
No,
see
no.
you. I'll see you maybe less than a week, but let's not say a month anymore. Phil and Ryle, and listen up.